What up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? Alright, today's video is going to be a little bit more educational than usual. It's extremely important that you watch this video because you're probably going to learn a thing or two. Now, if you're a competitive player, you probably know that there are certain rulings differences between the TCG, which is the trading card game, versus the OCG, which is the official card game. The OCG is Asian countries, the TCG is everywhere else, including America. There are also rulings differences here in the TCG, in the Americas versus the European countries. I'm going to tell you the truth as to why there are all these rulings differences all around the world. Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh's research and development team, also known as R&D, have these meetings where they discuss how they're going to have differences around the world and how the game is played? I tell you they do not. It is actually a bit more shady than that as to why there are these differences. Now, when you go to a major Yu-Gi-Oh event, you'll notice that the head judge is usually some older gentleman in his 30s, 40s, sometimes even 50s, and you're just wondering, does that 50-year-old man up there really know Yu-Gi-Oh's advanced rulings and game mechanics? How often is it that you see someone outside the ages 12 through 29 playing Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, or even know how to play this game at all? You know what I mean? It's a bit unusual to me that they'd have this old geezer up there as the head judge, when they could have someone who plays the game competitively themselves head judging that event, who actually knows how to play this game. You know what I mean? It's important that that head judge knows this game well, because when he gives his ruling, that ruling is final and cannot be overturned. You probably knew that, but here's what you probably did not know. In previous years, once that head judge made his ruling, that ruling was published by R&D and became the official ruling for that Yu-Gi-Oh territory. Here's the problem with that. If that head judge comes over to a game and he second guesses himself as to what the correct ruling is, he's unsure what the correct ruling is, well, he's the head judge, so he's got to give a ruling. If he doesn't know the correct ruling, he has to guess. Occasionally, he will guess wrong. That wrong ruling gets published by R&D and becomes the official ruling for the game. Some of us players will know that that was an incorrect ruling, but we have to stick with that ruling because that head judge said so. You see, Konami wants you to think that their R&D team and their head judges are perfect and can do no wrong. When that head judge gives a crappy ruling, R&D changes the way this game is played. Sometimes those changes are drastic, sometimes it's probably a scenario that will never happen again. Most recently, there was a ruling regarding Traptrix Myrmelio and whether or not it would activate if it was removed from the field before it would activate. A head judge ruled that it would not activate. Because of that one ruling by that one head judge at that one event, the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh has changed. Now, any time a card effect would activate, if it's removed from the place that it would activate, it won't activate anymore. That's not how it worked in the past. If your opponent uses his mystical space typhoon on your set called the Haunted, and you chain that Call of the Haunted to bring back Sacred Crane, in the past, that Sacred Crane would be destroyed, then it would activate and you would draw a card. But nowadays, that Sacred Crane won't activate, and it's all because of that one sloppy ruling by that head judge. I will say that as of late, R&D has not been publishing any rulings at all, which is both good and bad. It's good in that they're not publishing these inconsistent, incorrect rulings that we have to stick with, but bad in that there are judges everywhere who don't seem to know how to rule certain effects. I'm talking Royal Command versus Shaddolls, hello? There's so many judges who don't seem to know whether Royal Command negates both Shaddolls effects or just their flip effects. We have no official published ruling as to how that works, so us judges just have to wing it. I'm sorry, but R&D can't seem to do anything right around here. We need to have certain published rulings, just as long as those rulings are correct. The main point of this video is we're all human, we're all prone to human error, even the guys at R&D and the head judges all around the world. They make mistakes, and every time they've made a mistake, that inconsistent or sloppy ruling has been published. Some head judges were right, some were wrong. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Now you know the causes behind all the irregular and inconsistent rulings in the game. Peace out, Yugioh.